Day 14 of the annex or extension build, and the guys have turned up today. The weather's lovely and the first window's going in. Now, Trey and I had a bit of a discussion last night, discussion in inverted commas, about the door, because it's not going to be weatherproof. So we had a big storm last night, as I showed you, and a lot of water went in through the doorway. Now obviously the door's not hanging there, but my point is that that side is going to get the weather excuse me, and any rain that blows onto the door will obviously fall downwards as per Newton's law of gravity, and the wind will likely push it into the crevices and gaps and around the frame. So because Cintere insisted on the door opening inwards, there isn't any way to create a weatherproof threshold. So, door opens inwards, which means it closes onto this jamb. So the water's going to go down the door. It's going to try and get in that jamb, obviously, but it's going to end up on the bottom here. And the door's going to have a gap of 3 centimetres because nobody bothered to check the height of the frame versus the door before installing it. And the water's going to go in there. It's going to get blown in, or it's just going to go in naturally, even without any wind. So she's got to solve that problem. It's her project, she's got to solve it. I have to say, I did advise her to tell them, and I said it more than once, that before they put the frame in, they should check the fitting of the door. So now we've got the height wrong, and we've got the direction of opening wrong, and if we change it to outward opening, it will now foul on this rail, so it won't fully open. It'll open enough, but it won't fully open. So that's a problem for them to solve. I do get frustrated sometimes because I might be sounding a bit big-headed here, but I do know about some basic building principles, and I do know to think ahead a bit. And unfortunately I get ignored, and as I said in my summary of the house, when I get ignored there are problems. So the garage is going to have a wall built up to the roof height because that's what I wanted originally, but I was ignored. So we're sorting that out after the event at more expense, and the wall is vulnerable in that corner there because they didn't do good foundations, because I was ignored. And there's a couple of other minor things as well. They'll get over this, I'm sure, but it's just sort of adding time to the job, and we haven't got time. We literally have got to be out of here in 3 days. Okay, as you all know, I hate geckos, and I'm constantly trying to find ways of sealing up the house to make sure they don't come in. Although my final solution is working very well, because I'm getting babies and adults all over the house with the sticky pads that I hide underneath furniture or behind furniture. However, I would like some preventative measures in place better than the ones I've got at the moment, which are these little plastic covers that I've made and stuck on the end of the windows. Unfortunately, they haven't weathered very well. They've gone a bit brittle because they're plastic. They've caught the frame on occasions and snapped, especially when someone's rough opening and closing the windows, because the windows are a little bit flexible and so they can just move very, very slightly and catch the plastic. So I've come up with a new solution, and to do the work I need to remove this window. And to remove one of these windows, you have to take off the little plate that's held on with two screws right up the top there, which is the anti-lift plate, so stops someone from outside lifting the window up and taking it off so they can access your house more easily. So I've removed that. But one thing I've noticed with this window is that obviously this trim at the end was put on afterwards, after the window frame was actually put into place on the runner, and the top of it there, it was catching on the frame, so I can't lift the window out. So I've had to actually cut that hole a little bit deeper, which is part of the trim, and now the window should lift out. Right, so I've got the window out successfully. I'm not even sure how this trim's held on, so I was very wary of pulling at it and bending it too much in case it snaps, so cutting it is the best solution. Now, what I've done here is I have got some draft proofing strips, and I've stuck them on the bottom here. You can get these in 9mm widths. That's the maximum width I've found them. This gap here is actually 36 odd millimeters, so I've stuck 4 strips down here next to each other and overlap them considerably with where the frame actually will sit, so that anything that tries to push in there has got a lot of effort to make, and I don't think any geckos are going to want to go in that way. And I want to do the same up the top there. Now the top's a little bit more, it's just slightly different actually, because I've got to put the strip in between the screw cover there and where the plate is, and the doors will overlap and sit on the draft proofing just by doing that. This draft proofing, as I say, the maximum width you can get it is 9mm. The maximum height I found is 23mm, which is perfect for this gap. And the strip up at the top, I'm using a 15mm height of fur, if you like, because the gap's slightly different. And this is our little friend here, who spends his day sleeping in the corner there, so I'm trying not to disturb him. I've kept all my cleaning and preparation away from him. And my little froggy there makes a hell of a racket in the early evening before he goes off feeding, and then he comes back and sleeps there all day. And I love little froggies like that. I like snakes, frogs and proper lizards, but I hate the noisy, pooey geckos. So in the end I decided to remove the other window. I had to do the same cutting to get it out, otherwise I can't really get those things stuck on very well because of the overlap being in the way. I've left the tags on the end because I want to put the plate back and then stick the last centimetre or so slightly over the plate. So I'll get it all reconstructed now. windows are in, and now they're doing the door. Fortunately, these guys have got all the tools they need, so he's using his router to take a little bit off the frame because it's a little bit tight on the door. And I've managed to convince Suntory to turn the door around so it's opening outwards. It's the only way it's going to have a chance of being waterproof and watertight. So, well, I think she's going to do that anyway. I mean, they've taken the frame out to alter it. I'm hoping they'll put it back the other way. Right, this is the finished product. So we've got a very well sealed gap there, and I'm going to put a little bit of white plastic. I've got some tape on order, some bathroom sealant tape, which I'm hoping will be sort of sturdy enough, if you like, to just put a patch over that hole there and over the top one. Okay, because obviously that is the only other route that the bugs can get in, the geckos can get in. They can get in there, I would think, and then wait until the window's in a certain position to get into the room, because they're very crafty, these things, you know. And then this is the top seal here, you see. So when the windows are closed, that is keeping all the geckos out from the top, and there's no way they can get in down the sides here, because this is quite tight, and it's got a little draft excluder of its own on this edge. So that's it, and the product is a 3M tape. Cost me, I don't know, 400 baht, 100 baht for each roll. I think it's a 2-meter roll. I need two different sizes, and I need 4 rolls for the whole house, which is 3 double windows like the one I've just shown you, and a triple window. And I'll have some spare, but I need more than 2 meters, so I've had to order 2 rolls to get 4 meters. And yeah, I'm hoping that will work. Right, the windows are in, the door's in, and after further discussion it's been turned around so it opens outwards and we can make it weatherproof. Now they've got to put on that little bit of trim there that we went and bought. That's got to be cut, and it's got to be put on the back of the little roof at the front, that bit there, and on the other side as well, because it's exposed at the moment. It's unprotected from the weather and from birds and whatever, and it doesn't look very nice. After that, we want them to actually put some wood on those steps, because they're actually, although they're well built, the steel they've used is actually quite dangerous in the wet, and it's very thin, very narrow, so going up stairs and going down in particular, it's quite an effort and quite dangerous. So we've both decided we want some board put on there. We think we've got enough left to actually do that job and make those stairs a little bit wider. Right, sealing around the windows now, and the guy's cutting off steel and sealing up the ends of the exposed posts. And I don't know if you can spot the deliberate error with the door. They put the handle on so it basically hangs down. Look, can you see that? That's how it was. I've said, what on earth's wrong with the handle? So now they're seeing how to fit it so it rests horizontally. Nobody noticed it. Nobody was bothered by it. In fact, Suntory says, "Oh, but if the handle goes sideways, it won't close. The door won't close because it will bang on the frame." Because she was thinking the handle's got to go to the left as we're looking at it. This does make me laugh sometimes. Right, door's fixed, door stop put in place. The guys are starting to dismantle things that we use for high level work, and they're now mixing up cement because they're going to start the wall around the garage. So that's good, they get a bit of that done before home time tonight. Well, it's the end of the day. As you can see, it's dark. We've got the lights on, and I made good progress. Only a couple of hours to set this lot up and get to this point. So that's great, because that means that they will actually finish this wall here tomorrow, I'm certain, and they'll be probably finishing the rendering as well. Yeah, looks good. Just what the doctor ordered. I missed the actual building bits this afternoon because unfortunately I was a bit ill, so I was a bit indisposed for a few hours, and I've recovered enough to come and make this brief film. What a bloody hero.